Yes guys, welcome back to episode 2. So in this episode we're going to be going over February and backtesting the whole of February. If you can't remember last time, you'll see down here the balance is currently at 4% profit, risking 1%. So we caught 2 trades in January. We only traded, I think, pretty much 2 weeks of January. I mean, you'll see in the last video, we caught 2 trades, 1 a week on average, and won them both, which were both fixed 2RR. So that was a very, very good month. The first 2 weeks of January are normally full of news, and normally we avoid it. So we just focus on the last 2 weeks of January, and yeah, we got some good results. So hopefully we can carry that on in February and let's see what results we get this month. Let's go. So yeah, we're just on the 31st. Well, we're on Sunday, 2nd of February, but obviously last Friday was the 31st of Jan. So this is the start of February. So let's analyze the charts. We've got a bit of a new week opening gap here, but I just basically, on TradingView, that's not actually a thing. It normally shows you the candle, but on FX Replay, they seem to have a bit of a glitch. But it's basically just one big, I just class it as a fair value gap. But normally we don't trade it anyway. But if you're wondering what that is, that's all that is. So let's skip this. So we're looking for sells here. It's very, very clear. See if we get a sweep. We do get a sweep here. Let's have a look at the 1 minute time frame. Actually, have we looked at? Yeah, so the hourly is bearish. We've tapped into, we haven't tapped into the new week gap yet. 4 hour is very, very bearish. So yeah, this could be a nice setup here. In fact, we've technically already had the setup here, which we have technically missed, which isn't ideal. I didn't realize that we were that far ahead, but what we've got here is this. Yeah, we've got this. So we've had a nice push up. We've had quite a big push up, which is not the best to see, but we have ultimately broken structure. This is our structure point here. This is the recent low in the market. We've broken that. We've retraced into the fib range, and we have had a, this is our first inversion fair value gap. So this would be our entry here. So on this area, 250 stops, and we'll target a 2R. We are going to have to enter a bit lower here, just simply because we have actually missed entry. I'll try not to do that. But hopefully, so yeah, we are going to have to enter down here, which is quite annoying. But you guys know what we were looking for ultimately. So yeah, let's see if this plays out. I'll remember to place order. 1% risk. Yeah, everything is correct. All right, let's see how this plays out. Okay. Moving nicely, moving nicely. We did have a bit of a pullback here, but ultimately we are moving nicely. Let's see. Oh, that's unfortunate. So there's our first loss of the series, boys. We're not undefeated. That is the first loss of the series. This move here was actually really nice, but we must have found support in the market somewhere, and ultimately sent price back up. But that is fine. So that is the first loss of the series. So yeah, nothing really much to say. It was a clean setup. We had everything there. The only thing that was a slight negative was the fact that we had such a big sweep and we had such an energetic move up, because technically this could have been a bullish trade if we had obviously the bias behind us. Because look, you can see if we pull the fib out in a bullish sentiment, we tapped straight into the fib and pushed upwards. So that is the only thing I can criticize about this trade. But other than that, everything was perfect. We had the bias with us. We were in clear sells. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely fine. We move on to the next day. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Moving on swiftly. All right, so we'll skip this day. Moving on to the 4th. We're clearly bearish again. 4 hour time frame. Oh, so I mean bullish, sorry. So hourly is bullish, 4 hour is bearish, because we have not broken structure to the upside yet. So this will likely be a day that we skip. So let's see what happens. We do, I'm guessing, break structure to the upside on the 4 hour now. We do. So now we're in a bullish sentiment on the hourly and the 4 hour, which is good. That is what we want to see. So now we can come into the day looking for buys. So let's see if the market gives us anything. Okay. That's a nice push up. That is a nice push up. Let's see. What time are we? 7 a.m. Okay, that is nice. That is nice. So what we can do here, guys, is pull the fib out from this move here. So this is what I was saying. You don't need a sweep of Asia. If you have a really I mean, it's like that last trade which we just lost. If we had the bullish bias behind us, we pull that fib out. This is literally identical. So if this plays out nicely, this would actually be a perfect example of if you've got the bias behind you. These are the sort of trades that you can catch. Okay. So let's see if we can get a pullback into this fib. Hopefully it doesn't go about us. Sort of just consolidating. Okay. Okay, that is really nice. Wow. That is perfect. If we can inverse this. Okay, we've inversed this imbalance here. So I'm happy to take that. We've had such a nice reaction from... We'll move that up slightly. Yeah, we've had such a nice reaction. We'll put stops below the 0.7 on the fib. Yeah, that reaction is beautiful. That is a wick and a half. So that is what we want to be seeing. 2RR. We'll target. That's a 2.1. Oh, mate. There we go. 2R. This is looking very, very clean. Almost identical to the last trade that we actually lost, because obviously our bias was sells, but the bullish sentiment was there. So let's see. Let's not forget to place this trade. 1% risk. Save. Okay. Let's see how this plays out, boys. We'll put it on the 30-minute just to skip. Good start. Very good start. Bang. There we go. There we go. Look at this. This shit plays out all the time, boys. Like, I can't express this enough. This is actually... Yeah, man. This is actually so good. If you're interested to catch trades like what we've just hit, then make sure to check out the Discord, which is linked on this YouTube channel, and head over to the Apply for VIP section and apply for our VIP, where you will get a completely free call with ourselves, and you can choose a package of your choice that suits exactly your needs, and you can learn to take these trades yourself. So make sure to head over to the Apply for VIP section now in the Discord linked in this YouTube channel. Now let's carry on with the video. Like, so good. I've got nothing to say really. Like the last trade that we lost, if that bias was bullish, it would have been an identical trade to this, and you guys seen that. So that is amazing. Perfect trade once again. So that is 4 trades, 3 wins, 1 loss, I believe. So very good heading into the new year. That's a very good start to the year. And I do remember having a good start to the year actually this year. So let's continue. Very good start to February, as well as a good start to January. What a start to the year, lads. What a start to the year. Okay, so this is not looking amazing. So we are still bullish technically. However, on the hourly, we're just not looking bullish enough. And there we go. We'll continue downwards. So that will be a skip day. On to the 7th now. Let's have a look at the 4-hour. We've broken structure to the downside. We have. Hourly is technically in a downtrend. Okay, so we could potentially look for sells here. We'll see. We've had the 1-minute sweep. See what we get here. Continuing upwards. Nah, we'll leave that. If we want sells, we don't want to see price coming, and it's broken structure to the upside there as well. So that is what we don't want to see. We want to see those instant responses. So if this candle wicked here and then continued down, broke structure, etc., then we'd be looking for it. But once a candle pushes up this much, sells are out the window really. And I mean, as you see here, we broke structure on this hourly candle, so we'd be against the bias. So moving on to the 9th. What have we got here? So we're back into sells. 4-hour is, I'm assuming, sells as well. We're looking to create a lower low on the 4-hour. So let's see if we can get a sweep of Asia's high. Drop down to the 1-minute. That's choppy as hell. That price action is not clean whatsoever. I'll avoid that. Honestly, like technically, yes, we've had this break of structure, but this price is not what you want to be seeing. You want to be seeing energetic pushes down. You don't want to be seeing consolidation phases at a slight descent. You don't want to be seeing that. So we will avoid that at all costs. I would be sure that this will go straight through stop loss. There we go. That's the sort of price you don't want to be seeing, boys. That is the sort of price you want to stay very, very clear away from. Moving on to the hourly time frame. To skip this day. Don't want to see consolidation phases like that. Moving on to the... Oh, what was that? Yeah, moving on to the... What day are we on? Moving on to the 11th. Let's see what this day presents us. So we are sells again. 4 hour. Bearish. Hourly. Bearish. 1 minute time frame. So this is a sort of move down you want to be seeing. It's not as clean again, but it looks like it might go without us here. So in Frankfurt session, it looks like price has tapped into this fib range here and just rejected. But we want to be waiting for 8 AM before we enter any trades. So that's unfortunate. We'll see if this actually does play in. Oh, it does come back up. But by now, we've already swept a lot of liquidity. We've had this tap in. We've almost missed the move, essentially. I mean, we'll pull this fib out. So this... There's a small imbalance there that you could have entered off here. But honestly, by the time price has already moved down this much, I personally wouldn't be entering that. So yeah, I mean, it's tricky. It's a tricky one. It's hard to explain, but this is almost the move that you want to be catching. You want to be catching this from the straight off sweep. Once you've had a retracement, you don't want to be seeing a retracement already occurring and then a pushback, because realistically, price doesn't need to retrace once again. There's no need for price to retrace again. You want to be catching that first instant move. So this will most likely go straight through. There we go. Boys, once you can read these time frames, and all I can say is it comes from experience. The more experience you have, like the more time you put into the markets, the more you'll get out of them, essentially. That's essentially how the markets work. So yeah, we'll avoid that. Looks like we're having quite a strong push up to the upside. Is the 4 hour broken structure to the upside? Yes, 4 hour has broken structure to the upside with this here. Hourly time frame is looking extremely bullish. 1 minute. See if we get a sweep or anything. We don't get a sweep. We do get somewhat of an energetic push up, but then we get an energetic push down. Let's see if we get a sweep. We do get a sweep. We have actually, in fact, broken structure here to the upside, but we've already swept Asia's high. Let's have a look at the hourly again. It's in a slight consolidation phase. Honestly, this doesn't look like a bad setup. We have already swept Asia high, which would have been somewhat of the target, but we do have a nice liquidity point up there to target now. So now that we've had this move here, we have actually tapped in. This could be an entry here. This could well be an entry here, guys. Let's see how this moves. So we've had our 1 minute break of structure with this point here. This was our break of structure here. We've then retraced and we've inversed this imbalance here with this candle. So this could be a nice entry here. So we'll go for this one. You'll see here on the, not the 2 hour, the hourly. We are in a slight consolidation phase, but ultimately this candle, which we just swept, has swept all of this liquidity here, tapped into this hourly imbalance, which is unmitigated. And the 4 hour, again, we've just tapped into a 4 hour imbalance. So this looks very, very clean. This does look very, very clean. And it's nice to have those extra confluences behind you on the higher time frames, such as 4 hour imbalances, 1 hour imbalances, 4 hour fib ranges, 1 hour fib ranges, etc. Those are nice to have behind you. They're not essential, but it just gives you a bit more confidence in the trades. So let's see how this one plays out. The only thing with this trade is the break of structure is not as strong, if that makes sense, because the upwards move isn't as strong. Ideally, you want to see this as your latest structure point, so then you have a really energetic push up and then a slight retracement, bang. But here we've had a small push up. We've still broken structure, but it's not, you know, the strongest move upwards. But this looks clean. We'll see how this goes. Just consolidating. We're now pushing up now. Nice push here. See how this moves. Oh, it's news. So realistically, that's going to be a break-even trade, but obviously on the statistics, it's not going to show that. But realistically, we're pulling out of here. I mean, I wouldn't even pull out 2 minutes before. Realistically, we're probably going break-even once we're in this sort of liquidity. So it would have been a break-even trade. You know, if you're seeing high, I mean, that's extremely high impact news. So, I mean, we can't really take that off of the losses, essentially, but that would be classed as a break-even trade, let's be honest. So, yeah, that's a shame. But is what it is. We'll come back stronger, of course. You boys know that. So, let's continue onwards. Onwards and upwards, as they say. Onwards and upwards. Let's go, let's go. Alright. 13th, really nice push up. I doubt we'll get anything here. Nice continuation. There was no sweep of anything here, and no real energetic move in London. London session just moved downwards, hence why I didn't even look at that day. So ideally we want to see an energetic push in Frankfurt really high, and then London retraces, and then we tap into this Frankfurt move. But obviously this is just Asia's move up, and then London has basically just traded downwards, which is not what you want to see. You want to be seeing London giving you that energetic move up, okay? If that makes sense. So moving on to Friday, we're in a really good spot to be looking for buys here, which is good. Let's see what we can collect here. What time are we? 6 o'clock. Somewhat of a nice move there. We'll go down to 10 minute. Nice. Nice. This is nice. This is looking good. Okay, okay. What else can we bring here? Okay. Retracement into this sort of area here is nice. That is essentially what we want to be seeing. We're on the 1 minute time frame. Okay. Let's pull the fib out here from 6 AM. We want to be pulling it from about Frankfurt here. So we can pull this fib out here. Wait for a potential tap. Oh, that would have been our entry. There. We'll put stops just down here. Bit of breathing room. And we will target a simple 2R. So you can see Frankfurt had the push up. We pull it out from the start of Frankfurt session. We then retrace just before London. London opens and we have an impulsive move up, which is essentially inversing this candle. So let's place order. 1% risk, yes. Save and journal. Let's go. Really nice move. Really nice. There we go. Bang. Straight back from that loss. Straight back from that loss. That is beautiful. So that is what we want to be seeing, guys. We want to be seeing these energetic pushes up in Frankfurt session, or even including the start of London. So if London continued to push up, and then the back end of London retraces, gives us an entry, bang. The end of London session and the start of New York can hopefully give it that energetic push. So that is another perfect trade. So we're up 2% this month so far, and we're only halfway in. But we're taking a lot more trades this month. We've taken 4 in 2 weeks, so that is 2 a week. So yeah, but another really nice trade there. Let's see what else this has to bring. 16th, really strong pullback on the hourly. We've technically created a high there. It's just consolidating. We'll avoid that. Oh. Nice push up for the 18th. Again, really strong pullback, which is strange. I'm not seeing anything here really. Okay. Is that news? That is 7 AM news. But this is ultimately what we want to be seeing. This sort of move, but obviously we want to see the tap in London. Like that. That is nice. Bring the fib down to about here. And ultimately look for a 2R. It's quite a large trade, this one. How many handles is that? Oh no, it's not too bad. It's only 300. Just looks a lot bigger. We need to hope that this comes down to entry again, because we don't really want to be entering up there. So we'll enter this position and just hope that... Actually, no, we'll just put it up there so that it actually gives us an entry. Because if that rides straight to TP and doesn't enter us, that would be painful. So now we need to move this to 2R. There we go. Hopefully this plays out nicely. But this is almost identical to the last trade. You know, we had a really energetic push during Frankfurt. And now we've come back, retraced, inversed this imbalance. And we'll see how this plays out. Nice push. Not so nice push. Not so nice push. And to stop loss. So that is unfortunate. But again, the exact same trade. Good setup. Everything you want to see. But, you know, not every single one plays out. But it was a nice initial push, but we swept this once more and started to descend. But everything was there. Hourly uptrend. We had quite a strong pullback, I must admit. But essentially, this is a higher low. You know, we put no lows in during this move back. It is a big pullback, but there was no lows. The 4 hour is a clear uptrend as well. So, yeah, nothing to really say bad about that trade. Let's move on. So we are 1% up this month. Now, let's continue. Moving on to the 19th. Again, look for buys here potentially. Looks like a news candle. 7 AM news. So we'll avoid that. This is looking a bit messy. You can see it's just choppy. There's no real clear price. And we continue upwards when we would have probably been looking for sells there. So it's good that we avoided that. And a really nice pull up. Let's see if we can get anything here. What time is this now? Just had a sweep here. Oh, it looks like quite a high news event day. So we've got high impact news at 8, high impact news at 7 as well. These are really tricky days to trade. See what happens. Yeah, it's not really giving much. No, just consolidation. Pure consolidation. On the 1 minute anyway. And it's now broken structure to the downside anyway. Moving on. Bullish again. 1 minute time frame. Let's see what this presents us. Break of structure. But it's not 8 AM yet. Okay, now it's 8 AM. But we need a strong push here. Okay, that's quite a nice push. Can we get a retracement of some sort? We can. Oh, no, not that. We don't want that. It's a riskier trade, this one. Just because... And we'll have to check the 1 hour again, because this may have broken structure. It hasn't broken structure, but it's like the last trade that we just lost. It's a really extensive pullback. So I think I probably will avoid this, to be honest. Those extensive pullbacks, I mean, we'll see if we get some sort of an entry. No, we didn't even get an entry, so there we go. Those extensive pullbacks, ideally you want to be seeing price finding support in these fib ranges. So if you pull the fib out from this hourly move, you want to be finding support in this sort of area here, not all the way down here near the 0.78 on the fib range. So you want to be looking for price to find support around here and then start looking for setups here. So if we swept Asia, tapped into this fib and then started seeing an impulsive move up, would have been perfect, but we didn't. Hence why I was a little bit unsure of taking that trade. Let's continue. Looks like we are now somewhat in a downtrend, still a bit consolidated. 4 hours looking messy. I think we'll avoid this. We need some sort of clear bias here. This is just choppy. There we go. Nice push up. Hopefully 26th can give us, but then a push back. There we go. Nice push up. Okay, 27th. Can it give us something? Is it looking like a very extensive pullback? Again, it is. Yeah, this price has been horrendous towards the end of the month. We'll see. So this should be sells here. 4 hour time frame. What's it saying? Yeah, broken structure to the downside. So we could look for sells here on the last day of the month, 28th. Let's see what price gives us. So we haven't swept any liquidity here. It's just choppy. Extremely choppy. Okay, so that is February wrapped up, boys. That is February wrapped up. So I think that was... What was that? Was that 5 trades, 3 losses, 2 wins? And we've come out 1% up, I believe. So that goes to show, boys, you can lose more than you win, but still be up if you've got the correct risk management. So that was a pretty poor month, all things considered. But we had a strong month in January, and ultimately we're up 5%. You know, if you're risking 2% on an eval, that's 10% profit. That's phase 1 on Alpha Capital's 8% phase, and a bit of phase 2 as well. So, you know, you're starting the year strong. You're also, let's say you've got a live account, even if it's a 50k account. If you're 5% up in 2 months, that's 2.5 grand. You know, you've got to put it into perspective. You're not going to be taking a trade every single day. You've got to understand that, otherwise you won't be. I mean, this week we've taken 1 trade on Wednesday and it won. We didn't take a trade on Monday, Tuesday. Took a trade on Wednesday, it won 2%. Thursday, Friday, no trades because price action just was terrible. And we've come out the trade profitable. You know, come out the week profitable. So that's all that matters. Less is more in trading. I can't express that enough. But this win rate is very, very similar. I mean, you'll see that at the end of the series, I'm sure. It will be in and around 50 to 55% win rate. That is normally our strategy's win rate. But yeah, it's a decent start to the year. But obviously this is a somewhat new model. You know, we're not using the generic 5-minute breaker structure. We're using the 1 minute, which can be a bit more sporadic. It's probably going to have a few more losing trades. However, you're going to be taking more trades, and yeah, it's a bit of a test, but everything is the exact same as my normal strategy, just a 1 minute breaker structure rather than a 5. But thank you, boys, for watching. Hopefully this gives you, even if it gives you a bit of an insight on how I trade, it might give you better outlook on how to backtest effectively as well, because you'll see that I'm skipping on the hourly time frame, and you know, I'm doing these 1 month backtesting periods within 15-20 minutes, so it's very effective. So yeah, drop a comment, drop a like, make sure you drop a like, make sure you join the free Discord, which is linked in the bio as well, and I will see you in the next video. Sweet, boys, sweet.